quite as good as the other ones. You know what I mean? So it kind of drags on that way.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
What's not dragging on though, Brent, is Division E Week 1. Welcome everyone. This is Calling the Audible. I am your host, Peeze Delariz. I can be followed, not home, because that would be creepy, but I can be followed on social media, on Twitter, at PeaseFPF. I actually urge you to send me hate mail. I use it in my DVD article as I respond to it as awkwardly as humanly possible. You can also find me at most other platforms at Peeze Delariz. So, for example, those of you active on Facebook, I'm fairly active in the flag football community, flag football group. So you can actually just message me directly on Facebook. Brent Botkin, of course, can be followed at Bad News 51.
There you go, sir. There you go.
Brent is Mr. Bad News. We are, of course, 2, where we are normally 3. As per mathematics would dictate, Steph Fennis will not be joining us. He's missing a couple of weeks. He signed on for this podcast, and then he did the most Steph Fennis thing ever, and then he's like, yeah, but I probably can't make it to most of the shows. So, Brent, you're going to be my buddy this season. Will be fun. Steph, we have an empty seat in your honor. Hopefully you're watching it from whatever tropical paradise you're enjoying at the moment. And, of course, our producer is at Chapman. I'm saying at Chapman. He has no Twitter handle, so he is just Chapman. We are brought to you, of course, by Sportera, official supplier and producer of FPF uniforms and jerseys. One Speed Power, Division E team. We just ordered our jerseys. Should be getting them in time for picture day. More on that later. And we are, of course, brought to you today in not quite our new home, for new home of the podcast. This is, as a producer behind me is taking care of the lighting issues. This is a temporary home, as our new Flag Plus football studio is not yet ready. It should be ready for next week. Although it's a very Flag Plus thing to do, Brent, to promise something for 1 week and then it not be ready
Pretty much,
for that
pretty
time. Like the Scorekeepers app, for example. But I'm excited about the new studios, Brent. I don't know if I told you about it. It's going to be interesting. It's not nearly as luxurious and nice as this. It'll be sweaty and the climate will be horrible and cramped.
It's in a garage, pretty much.
It's in a garage, but the benefit of that is we're going to customize it to our needs. So there's going to be some green screens, and we're going to be able to put up graphics. And
awesome, yeah.
especially as we get to playoffs, we'll be able to post the standings. If we have video of certain things, we'll be able to talk with the video in the background. So there's endless possibilities.
You can even put like a CGI Steph fans. That might work out.
A CGI. I don't know if we're at the stage. Will we have hologram in the next studio?
Holograms will not be available.
All right, maybe 2018, perhaps, season. Eagle, I need you to work on that.
Couldn't you just say that we are here to celebrate Montreal's 375th anniversary?
We are here to celebrate Montreal's 375th anniversary, where the city is spending $40 million lighting a bridge. We're spending $40 on a new studio, which is not yet ready. How was your week, Brent?
It's pretty good, man. Went 2-0. Feeling nice. It feels great to be back here. Great to kick off the FPF spring/summer season.
Where just for those who are watching us for the first time, I always say that every podcast is someone's first podcast. Sure. Where would people know you from if they were to know you?
Any bar near you? No. Honestly.
Or AA meetings in about 3 years.
Mickey D's, Harvey's. Pretty much, obviously from FPF, Flag Plus Football. Do some work at CBC. You can find me pretty much anywhere there's a football around. You can find me again at my Twitter handle at badnews51. You can see a lot of the different articles that I write, different things that I'm into. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And where do you play in FPF?
I play in Division E with the Striking Samurais. And in Division
Big win week 1, which we'll talk about in a bit.
So we want to know. It's a good first victory for the team, first time out. And also I have my own team in Division C, the Commission. Starting off 1-0 as well. It's good times.
That's cool. I'm playing 3 teams, actually. I'm playing for One Speed Power in Division E. So for those of you watching the show, know that you'll have an easy win playing against One Speed Power, as I am absolutely terrible at the quarterback position. At the position I play more commonly, it's the snapper position, and I do that for supply and command in Division D1. And Division C, I actually do snap for Simon Dagenet for reasons unbeknownst to me. I'm already hating the season. It's awful. I don't recommend it. So let's get into the first week of action. Brent, I have a whole slew of games here, but what caught your eye?
I got to say, actually, I had a chance after my game finished over here Monday night. I got to see your game against the Super Troopers.
I apologize for your eyes.
It was a couple of interceptions here and there from both sides, but honestly, it was
A
an entertaining
couple?
game. It came down.
A couple, Brent. Did you look at the score sheet?
9 combined interceptions.
I mean,
I
seriously.
I
And
was
then there were
trying to be
turnovers
nice.
on downs, too. Like, they're like interceptions.
I was trying not to throw you guys under the bus, but hey, listen, you know what? Chapman, obviously, you guys got the W. That's what matters most.
That's true. One Speed Power beating Super Troopers 2018. Gab Wiseman was not present for this game. He's quarterback
Yep.
for Super Troopers. And honestly, as a guy who having to throw against Super Troopers, very happy Gab Wiseman not there patrolling the field with Zach Zwern. But we saw Trevor Rendell, who struggled in his absence, threw a lot of interceptions. How many of this were related to poor timing, and how much of this is the supply and command defense?
I think a lot of it had to do with timing. Again, I mean, it's his first time out, getting significant time at quarterback. He had a couple of moments, a couple of plays here and there where he's able to lock in on a receiver, buy some time with his legs, and make a throw. But for a guy who's kind of being thrown into the fire, if you will, it was a struggle. And obviously, your defense, you have a lot of playmakers on your defense. So you guys obviously took the ball away a lot. You made it hard for him to complete passes. So it's definitely a good showing.
2 funny things happened in this game. One, Brent, I'll let you describe the scene. It was third and a couple inches. I scrambled to my left on a pitch option play to an incoming receiver in Dan Bornstein, and what happened?
I wasn't going to mention this. I didn't want to throw you under the bus.
Oh, I love this. I love
Please, please.
I
throw
love
him
to
under the
rag
bus.
on myself. I love paid mail, so I laughed in the huddle at that play. So
You laughed in the huddle. I laughed on the sideline. It was good times.
Yeah, so what happened?
Yeah, so you're rolling out to your right, looking to pitch the ball to Borenstein, and one of the Super Trooper defenders was like they were coming down to try to make a play on the ball, and you were kind of hesitating. Like you were telling me afterwards, should I pitch it? Should I run? Should I pitch it? Should I run? Ended up being, I think, I didn't want to say a 1 yard pitch. I think it was maybe like a half a yard
yeah,
pitch.
it just sort of fell out of my hand.
It
And
made it maybe past your shoe, perhaps.
it was
and yeah,
run pitch, neither.
It's a pitch run, yeah.
And then
yeah.
what was interesting is Super Troopers had a chance to win the game with One Speed Power up 20-10 or 20-12. Sorry. I had called basically first down, threw the ball on the ground. Second down, threw the ball on the ground. Third down, I'm like, all right, I'm going to ground the ball, punt it. They're going to have 2 or 3 plays to march the field. And I called everyone on the hooks and willpower deep. And I was like, all right, going to ground it, but Will's so open. But it came out of my hand completely weird, intercepted. They scored a touchdown the last couple of plays and did not convert. So exciting ending for no reason, but an exciting ending nonetheless.
I'm sure you drew that play up, my friend. You want to, get it real close, have a fantastic ending. As you mentioned, you had to make the stop on the 2-point conversion. You guys did, hence getting the W. Is that how you drew it up, or?
No, I thought like at that point I was like, okay, we have an 8-point game. They haven't been able to march against us. The smart thing to do is to throw the ball into the ground. I even called it in the huddle, guys. I'm throwing the ball on the ground, and I did not do that thing. Another quarterback missing week 1 was James Dandria, who was in Turks and Caicos, which I've always found to be a bizarre name for a place. How can a place be 2 things? How can it be Turks and Caicos? Chapman, look up how something could be both Turks and Caicos.
Okay.
I need the answer on that ASAP. So he was missing, and in that game, they tried to do the same thing that they usually do, which was throw the ball deep. And when that doesn't work, attack the snap. And James Andrew is just so much more prolific at running that offense. Were you surprised to see either of these teams, Smoking Axles or Spartans, slumming it in Division E?
I'm not surprised because, let's be honest, I mean, these are 2 of the contending teams in Division E or even Division 6, but they haven't really won anything.
Well, Smoking Axles have a Division E championship.
Well, they made the championship last spring.
Oh, no, they lost.
They
They
lost.
lost.
Yeah, they lost to
Trinity.
Trinity. That's exactly it.
That's correct.
So
My
they
mistake.
lost, final play of the game. And so, again, they haven't won anything, and the Spartans are another team.
I was thinking of their old Heisman's team, but it's not the same
yeah.
core at all.
And the Spartans are another team, again, who I mentioned, they're a contending team, especially with James Dandria in the lineup. But, again, they haven't won anything, and they're a team who, come playoff time, they arrive with a 9-1, 8-2 record, and they're usually 1 and done, 2 and done at the most. So, again, there's lots of talent on both teams. I mean, you look at a guy like Rory Submergian, the Rossi brothers, Daniel Hernandez, Charles David Martel, the aforementioned Dandria. But, again, going up in a higher division is something that all teams want to do eventually at the end of the day. At least that's what I think. But if you haven't won anything in the lowest division, I think it serves you best to stay there until you can win something as a team and then gradually move up.
That's fair. Another team moving down, Hot Boys Hotline.
Yep.
The Eagle and Master Control's team. They won 19-8 against the Expendables. It was a good game. But, Brent, how many games do you think they can win only scoring 3 touchdowns? You know, they've been a team that's been a stronger defense than offense, but can they truly be competitive?
Well, I mean, Tom Gay-Halcyon is a buddy of mine. He's a good quarterback. He's a serviceable quarterback. He can make plays. He gets the ball out of his hand. It's just that it's scoring 3 touchdowns a game. You're not going to beat too many teams. I mean, they have a great defense. They held the Expendables to 8 points, but I mean, how often are you going to do that throughout a 10-game season plus the playoffs? One guy I do like on their team is Vadim Zhernak. He's a playmaker. He had 6 receptions. For
But is he
54
being
yards.
used to the best of his capabilities?
Well, I mean, he had 2 TDs. He led all receivers in that game in terms of TDs and yards. So, I mean, at least in game 1, it's a small sample size.
Yeah.
Seems to be somewhat used wisely.
Because he's a great snapper, and with his speed, he's able to get to second level, which a lot of Peeze-shaped snappers can't do. And so, definitely, gives him a weapon. Chap, you have some info on Turks and Caicos?
Yes, I do. It's essentially they're part of the British Overseas Territory. There's
Mhm.
about 40 islands, and the 2 major islands are Turks and Caicos. So that's why it's called Turks and Caicos.
Which one wins?
The Turks, obviously.
Right.
Here's some interesting facts. Turks is actually from a type of cactus which is native to that island. They call it the Turk's cap. And Caicos is actually a word from Lucayan, which is Kaya, which means string of islands.
You and I have a very different opinion on what interesting means. So for the Expendables, having played in a higher division, moving down, what do you think that this is still the home for them? What can they do to improve quickly? Who needs to step up? Because last season we saw nobody caught more than 2 touchdowns for the entire season on this team. Who needs to step up on their offense?
Well, I mean, that's your first question. I mean, moving down is a smart choice. They finished 0-10 last season, so I mean, moving down is pretty much the only way to go. In terms of the offense, though, I think it's going to have to be a collective unit. I mean, the quarterback has to throw. David Rowaldi has to throw more than 1 touchdown a game. You're not going to be anybody scoring a touchdown a game. Defensively, though, holding a team like the Hot Boys Hotline to 3 touchdowns, maybe that's a bit of Hot Boys Hotline's inefficiency on offense. Maybe it's the Expendables defense. It's a start at least. It's a bit of a start. But offensively, it's an offensive league, as we both know.
Yeah.
You have to score points no matter what level of football you're playing to win the game. So it starts at the quarterback position. They need to get more plays, score more points, pick up some more first downs, extend some drives. The receivers, though, I mean, as you mentioned, no one with more than 2 touchdowns. Each receiver on that team has to up their game. You're moving down to the lowest division. It's not going to get ideally, it's not going to get any harder.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to see how it plays out. But they have to score more points, first and foremost.
Avocado scored a lot of points. Los Avocados.
Yes, they did.
40-18. Brent, take the L on Avocados.
You know what? I call them out a lot of times. Okay, but this is the thing. Like I said in my article last week, I mean, they made some nice additions. The addition, first and foremost, of Thomas Zorko.
I was going to ask you, is it all Thomas Zorko?
You know what? I want to say yeah, but I mean, they have some talent on that team. Who caught my eye last year in the playoff game that they lost in the first round was Samuel Demore. He's a guy who, he told me he had no football experience coming into FPF last season. So this is technically his second season of ever playing football. He's a big guy. He sort of, if this was tackled, he'd be in the tight end position. He's able to get up and catch some balls, make some plays.
That's cool.
He didn't come up with any offensive production in their week 1 victory over the Montreal Raiders, but he did pick up a sack on defense, and he had 3 batted passes, so he's obviously doing something right.
And the size they're playing to that.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I mean, again, Josh Vasquez, I played with Vasquez and Zorko before. They're both talented players. Vasquez is not going to lie you with the numbers. He was 7 of 10 for 113 yards, but you know what? 4 of those 7 passes went for touchdowns.
That's fair.
So, I mean, he's able to put points on the board, and he's obviously great with his legs. He had 4 carries, 55 yards, 2 TDs. He's averaging over 10 yards a carry. He's doing something right.
For the Montreal Raiders, Tevin Nichols, we see him return. He's played a couple seasons in FPF, but his rookie season really was impressive when he played for Air Squad. He had 20 catches, 10 of them being touchdowns. Is this his chance to lead a team in Montreal Raiders.
Well, definitely. I mean, you look at his week 1 production. He had 6 catches for 106 yards and a TD. That blew away pretty much, at least numbers-wise, and it went out the water. He's going to be obviously the number 1 de facto receiver, maybe even number 2 option, if you will. This is a chance to shine, to answer your question. I mean, I think he's going to have to be the leader on his team. 'Cause, I mean, if you look at this Montreal Raiders squad, it's pretty much a bunch of rookies and Tevin Nichols.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a bunch of rookies, in fact, and Tevin Nichols. So he's going to have to be the leader of the team to bring them up this season.
I also see a couple teams here, one of them being Striking Samurai,
Yep.
another one being Homo Sapiens, both being led by experienced FPF players. Homo Sapiens is Francois Delorier. I am Francois Delorier. And the Striking Samurai is Kevin Marshall.
Yep.
Kevin Marshall with a 101.6 QBR in his first start as an official team QB. Has this ever worked, or do they more often end up being like Mokan and Peeze? Like when guys who have had success in higher divisions move down and say, "Hey, let me try quarterback."
I mean, you look at a guy like Jared Taylor last year with the Goofy Goobers. He came in, he's a D1 receiver.
Okay, but Jared Taylor is also an elite baseball player and was a Concordia University
True.
receiver.
That doesn't always work out, though. I can tell you firsthand, playing Concordia wide receiver, any university, doesn't always work out, to be honest.
That's
with you.
fair. That's fair. Okay, so Jared Taylor, still no championship. But
Okay.
when was the last time this worked?
Wow. It's a really good question. I'd have to say possibly the Taylor brothers, Garrett Taylor, Nathan Taylor.
But I don't even think that Nathan Taylor won a championship as quarterback. Did he?
Sorry, at Concordia you're talking about? Or
No,
or
in FPF. I'm saying
FPF?
a guy who's had FPF experience in higher divisions
Yeah.
moved down to try quarterback. Like we
Yeah,
see with
yeah,
Kevin
you know what, though,
Marshall.
yeah, okay, we played them 2 winters ago. Yeah, they beat us in the regular season. They made a run in the playoffs, but yeah, they haven't won a championship. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm pretty sure it hasn't worked.
I just got one. It happened last season with Greendale Human Beings and Danny
Danny
Aylward.
Aylward,
Yeah, Danny Aylward, a heralded receiver in up to Division 3, Division B.
Okay,
Came down, tried playing quarterback.
You're right.
That's
You're right.
So I asked the question thinking there was none, and through scanning my mind, Chavin, just find the answer to this question. It doesn't have to be related because I know you weren't listening.
I was, sort of, but not really.
Give me the answer. Has it worked?
Has
That's
what
it.
worked?
That's the question.
Oh, we don't know.
Has it worked? Anything else before we move on?
I gotta say, I actually wanted to touch on the Homo sapiens. You know,
Go ahead.
They're obviously led, as you mentioned, by Francois Delorier, but it's a really veteran team. I mean, you have GM on the team, obviously, hard as well. Jonathan Brown. I expect some big things out of this team. I mean, they got a 26 tie against Primetime. Notwithstanding, I expect this team to go far.
Mm-hmm. And a team that there's 2 teams that I see ahead of me faced each other in week 1. One where I had high hopes. One where I'm tempering my hopes. Little Giants, they come in. I thought that team would be strong coming in. They face Pension Plan, a team that may struggle to get things started to begin with. Are Pension Plan better served with Mario Rinaldi at quarterback, or should they be starting Vince Pisano at quarterback?
It's an interesting question. I mean, if you look up, if you check just the week 1 results, I mean, you're going to say for sure it should be Pisano after Mario Rinaldi went 10 of 30 for 90 yards and 4 interceptions. Rinaldi, though, it's obviously it's his first year, it's his first time out playing the position, at least in FPF. So I think you might want to give him maybe another week or 2, see how he gets a bit more comfortable with himself at the position, and obviously with his receivers, because Pisano, as a receiver, is pretty decent. He's had a couple of seasons where he's had 7 touchdowns, so he knows how to catch the ball, he knows what to do. And if you switch him to the quarterback position, the most touchdowns he's thrown in the season is 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not like he's knocking it out the park and he's going to be a future FPF Hall of Famer at the QB position. So I think you might want to give Rinaldi at least another week or 2 to see what he really has.
Farmers have given me another chance with Benoit Robideau at quarterback.
Yep.
They won 26-18 against DGC in their first week. Have the Farmers learned, or are DGC still a new team trying to figure it out?
It
There's a
hasn't
little
worked.
It hasn't worked?
No, it hasn't.
All right. Now we know. Now we know.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I got a chance to watch a little bit of the end of the Farmers game against DGC. They seemed a bit impressive. I mean, as we mentioned a lot on the podcast in the winter, it was a lot of Robido running to one side and chucking it across his body to the other side of the field. I didn't see so much of that in the second half of action that I watched of that game. To answer your question, though, about DGC, they have some talent on that team. I believe they were without their rusher, Corey Werner. He wasn't there for the game, so that's huge. I believe he had, I want to say, he had double-digit sacks for sure in the winter season, so him not being there to pressure Robido consistently maybe helped Robido's numbers and definitely lessened the DGC defense. But again, in week 1 of the season, we were going to have to see. It was 6-6 at the halftime of that game, and then the Farmers exploded for 20 points in the second half to win it 26-18. So it's a positive start for the Farmers, but let's see if they can build off of it.
That's fair. That's fair. So we've gone through. So I have allergies, and I was on the road today for work, and talking all day long. My man, I'm struggling today, so I apologize to everyone. I apologize to everyone watching the podcast or listening whenever you do get a chance. I'm sorry. Every once in a while, my voice will break, and I'll be unable to finish the sentence. But I'm not soft like Steph Fenn, so I show up for the podcast. I wanted to talk about certain things specifically because we covered a lot of teams, we covered a lot of players. Give you guys pats on the back or a kick in the ass when so required. But I wanted to look at things from a more general standpoint. As this is Division E, especially beginning of the season, I want the podcast to be somewhat instructive. So for new teams coming in, we see a little bit of that. We see that with Montreal Raiders, a team that's not very experienced, Raccoons, teams like that. What advice can you give to them to start to move towards success? Because this is not a beer league. When you start an FPF and you're just a couple of guys at work like, hey, let's play flag football, you learn very quickly that this is very competitive. And even in the lowest divisions, there are some good teams.
Definitely. I mean, I know for myself personally, I've been playing in the league now for, about 10 years or so. And I know making the transition for myself from tackle to flag was huge. So I know for some guys out there, for you guys, it's going to be some of you guys are making that transition right now, or even guys who's coming into the league for the first time as being flag players in other leagues or playing outdoors, playing touch leagues, so on and so forth. As you said, Peeze, it's a serious league. You can't come in there thinking that your stuff doesn't stink. You're going to wreck this league and so on and so forth. You have to put in the time, especially for the new teams. You got to work on getting some chemistry together, getting a key, as you know, as a quarterback, a key set of plays that you know is going to work for your offense, put yourself in the best position to not only score points, but to develop that chemistry, to develop the timing with your offense. Because, again, it's an offensive league. You have to score points if you want to win the game. You can have great defenses, and defenses will help you get W's. But as many times as you stop somebody, you have to put points on the board.
And I would say, like, coming to the league, especially for a quarterback starting, start with hooks. Everyone just hook at 5. Have a play where you have, picks are illegal in flag plus football, but have a pick play or two where essentially you can break man-to-man defense. For the record, and this is also instructive to new teams, a pick is only a pick when a player makes contact with another player, a defender, who is not covering him. So if I run a hook and the guy who's covering me runs into me, that is not considered a pick.
Sure.
If, however, I make contact with someone who is covering someone, for example, dragging under that hook, that would be a penalty. So if you design the play smart enough, and if your guys are just careful with spacing, and spacing is that's the real secret in FPF is speed and all that, and speed and muscle and ability is all super important. But spacing makes any offense work. But you'll get the spacing. Once you get that working, the pick plays become a lot more effective. And another thing is get at least one flood play where you have 3 reads on one side of the field, a fly, so something deep, something intermediate, something short.
No, that's it. 100%. And to talk about your point on spacing, even on defense, it's the same thing. when you're running a zone, you have to know where your zone's going to be. You can't just run man all game. I see a lot of teams run man. The team we were playing against was a first-year team with Striking Samurais. We were playing against Friday Night Tykes. I'm not trying to throw you guys under the bus at all, because that's not why we're here. But you guys ran way too much man. It was super easy to pick apart. Learn
Because, man, you just need to win one matchup.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it.
You know, if you have one guy who can outrun somebody else, then there's no way it can't
man defense is done.
Yeah.
So when you're running a zone defense, learn the proper zones. Learn where the cover 3 is. Learn where the cover 2 is. Cover 4, 4-1. Just get out there, watch other teams. Watch the higher division teams. Watch games. See how the game is played. See what teams do. That's how you'll become a better team as well. Because, I mean, if you're just going to go there and think you're going to show up because you're a great athlete and win the game, that's more often than not, it's not going to happen.
That doesn't work. We see a lot of teams returning from Division D, from Division 5. These teams typically do okay, but aren't particularly dominant. Is that an issue that, like, where perhaps they're just not a strong team and they can be better served adding pieces and moving up? Or do you think really Division 6 or Division E rather, I'm going to do that all season. Do you think Division E is the learning ground for these teams?
I think it's a
learning ground. Is learning ground a thing? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
One way to find out.
the information center. I think it's a bit from column A and a bit from column B. I mean, you see some teams, as you mentioned, that do drop back down. It's I think a couple of teams. It's like a boxing match. A couple of teams, you know, they have a good couple of rounds in Division E or Division 6. They're okay, you know what? I can make this jump. They haven't even necessarily won a championship. They just think, you know, we finished 6-4. Or 7-3, we mold on a couple of easy teams. Let's make this jump. Division E is horrible. Division 6 is horrible, and then they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
When they get up to the higher division, and they come back down with their tail between their legs, and it's for me, it's a bit comical. Not to throw teams under the bus. I just think when you're in a division, whether it's C, D, 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. You need to, whatever division you go in, you need to establish yourself and just really work on your things. And you know what? Honestly, I think if you don't win a championship, or at least make multiple deep runs in any given division, I think moving up for the most part is foolish. Yes, as you were saying, you could add a couple of pieces, and that makes sense because every year I always think for my team, the commission, I always try to make my roster a little bit better. Not to say I want to kick guys off or anything like that, but things happen. Some players leave because of work, family, so on and so forth. So I'm always trying to add better pieces, but I always try to add, again, if I want to add somebody, I always want it to be better than the person they're replacing, ideally. Does it always work out that way? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I figure we're in Division C for like the last God knows how many years. Do we have the talent to play in B? Yeah, I think we probably do. Mm-hmm. But we haven't won anything in C, so what's the point of moving up until
That's
we
fair.
take care of business in C?
That's fair. So, Chap, you got 2 things to do right now. Yeah, 3 things back to back, actually. So first and foremost, the most important thing.
Learning ground.
Yeah, learning ground. Is that a thing?
It wasn't the most important thing, but yes, it is. You can visit chainreaction.org.
Nice. Basically, it's a chain reaction. So we'll
exactly
get to now the Chapman's favorite part of the podcast, which are his
Chapernames?
Games
of the week.
There we go. But it's the thing that you get excited about. Games of the week, Chapman will ask us to pick each game. Brent will pick one, and then I'll pick the next. And then we'll give a quick 2 or 3 sentences as to why. I'm usually pretty good at being succinct. Brent tends to ramble on. I will cut him off violently if need be. Although he's a big guy, so I'm kind of scared. Chapman, what are the games of the week?
Game 1, Super Troopers versus Greendale Human Beings.
I'll let you take it, Brent. Gav Wiseman's still not in.
Yeah, well, that's exactly.
He's out for 3 weeks.
Wiseman's on a European trip, so
he's been in Italy, living in a town of 46 people, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, good times. Can't go wrong. So
sounds amazing.
I'm gonna go with the defending Division E champs in that one.
Division 6.
Division 6. Sorry, exactly. My bad. Division 6 champs in the Greendale Human Beings.
Little Giants versus Farmers.
I like Little Giants the movie, and I like Little Giants the team. I still don't know what to make of Shane Hughes. He threw three interceptions in his first game. The team does have competent receivers, Sergio Sicoli. I think Little Giants will put just too much pressure on Farmers. Farmers won't be able to score with them. They'll make a mistake, and in a game full of mistakes, Little Giants will make slightly less.
The Expendables versus the Pension Plan.
I'm going to go with the pension plan in that one. I mean, I figured they score more points in week one. They have a bit more experience on their side. They seem to be the overall better team. I think the aforementioned Vince Pizzano will make a couple of plays to give his team the W.
Sons of Mitches versus Striking Samurais.
Chap, when you have a chance, I also need you to look up if it's
Samurais.
Samurai or Samurais. Oh, Samurais.
Yes,
As
eyes.
in the ocular
I'll ask
Samurais.
Kevin.
All right. Because I'm pretty sure
They
Samurai.
fight dirty, by the way.
Here you go. Is it Samurai or Samurais? Chapman's looking something up already. All right. So I'm looking at Striking Samurai's roster. It's strong. I don't know how this team fits in Division E. I pick Samurai. Striking Samurai. It's both? It's both Samurai and Samurai, so you're not wrong. I go, whether it is a plural Samurai or plural Samurais, I go Striking Samurais.
Raccoons versus West DeLille squad.
I believe it's pronounced Rakins.
That's what I wanted to say initially.
Rakins against
Rakins,
West
yeah.
Little squad.
Rakins, really? Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. I want to go with the West DeLille squad. I mean, they have Michael Kazaka. He was a dominant player.
Monster.
Monster player last in the winter season. It's kind of disappointing that he left part of my swag, but their loss is the West DeLille squad's gain. And I look at the Raccoons, the Raccoons. They have 12 players, none of them who have any FPF experience. So, yeah, I want to go with the West DeLille squad in that one.
Friday Night Tykes versus 4th and 20.
I'm going to go 420 Blazing on this one. Chap, you missed the chance to call them by their real name.
Listen, I was giving you the opportunity because I did it the whole season. By the way,
That's true. Vince Maniti, and it will be all this season as well. Vince Maniti of Blazing of 420 Blazing. He's not a guy who scored a touch. He's never averaged more than 2 touchdowns a game as quarterback. That said, Friday Night Tykes haven't shown the ability to score yet, so I'm going to go 420 Blazing.
Here for the beer versus Moss City.
I want to go with Moss City for 2 reasons. First of all, Moss City, they barely lost their week 1 game against the aforementioned West DeLille squad. They lost 19-18. And here for beer, they had 5 different quarterbacks in their game. Their 58-0 loss to Dirty Mike and the boys. 5 quarterbacks and 6 interceptions. That's not good. It's not good at all. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm going with Moss City.
Next game is Primetime versus TBA, but as I understand it, TBA is because they don't have an actual team name.
I called them out.
I know. We don't know when it will
we
be.
should totally chaperone this right now.
We'll do that. We'll do
idea.
that next. Actually, we'll do that next. I'm gonna go with Primetime. I'm kind of excited to see what Primetime does this season. They're from a lesser-known league, kind of like a farm league of FPF. It's kind of cute. But Josh Levine, Brent Stavlov are really good players. The other league, by the way, is Louis Cyr League, quality league. Just not FPF. But Brandon Stavlov, Josh Levine, those guys are great. I don't know a lot about Stephen Harris Purcell. Seriously.
Hey,
I don't know a lot about their quarterback, Stephen Harris Purcell. So therefore, I'm gonna take Primetime, but albeit a little tentatively.
In our next game, we have Spartans versus One Speed Power.
Do we know James is going to be back?
James will be back.
Okay, James will be back, so this should be a bar burner, if you will. I apologize, gentlemen, but I'm going to have to go with the Spartans. You know how fired up they get?
I flipped the table for those listening on the podcast.
They're 0-1, so James is probably in the gym right now, hearing this podcast somewhere, working out, trying to squat about 4 or 5 plates, and I think he's geared up. He's ready to go, I think, to get after Schneid this week.
I hope not. That said, James Andrea quitting smoking. Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
It's still going strong.
For sure.
DGC versus Lost Avocados.
Lost Avocados.
Should we call them Los Avocados now? Because, they look kind of impressive. They won
Well,
a
let's
game.
go with Not So Lost Avocados.
There you go. Okay,
And then if they win again, it's Wins Avocados. Let's go. Not So Avocados. I'm going to go with them just because they have not lost the game with Thomas Zorko in the lineup. So Thomas Zorko should be there. They will win.
Homo Sapiens versus Smoking Axles.
Yeah, that's. I go with the Smoking Axles in that one. Again, they're a veteran team. They got playmakers. They're coming off of a tie, I believe, in week 1. Yeah, I think they get the W in this one. It's going to be a tight game, though. I honestly think it'll be a tight game.
Montreal Raiders versus Le Choix du Président.
I'm going to say Montreal Raiders, and I think Tevin Nichols, wide receiver of the week.
Oh, all right.
Yamajo versus Pardon My Swag.
We're going to see the return, I believe, of Avery Lala. He missed week 1, so that's going to be huge for the Part of My Swag crew.
Absolutely.
On the go, Part of My Swag. Although, Yamajo, that's the name of their team?
Yeah.
Yamajo.
It's all caps, so it's clearly an acronym.
Yamajo.
Yamajo. Yeah, all right. Yeah,
I like that pronunciation.
Yamajo. It's a good team. They have some players on the team. Anton Sakic, Terrence Dobson, and Valentin Skripnik, who I think is one of the underrated offseason additions for any team in Division E.
Also, great name for a James Bond villain.
Or some kind of vodka. But yeah.
I would drink Skripnik.
Yeah.
I would drink Skripnik.
Yeah, I think I would too. Are
you drinking the Skripnik on this one?
As bad as that sounds. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go with part of my swag, getting the W.
All right.
Just for the reps versus Dirty Mike and the boys.
Dirty Mike and the boys were really good week 1, so I think just for reps are going to show up to this game just for the reps, not for the win.
Can I say something with that one? Dirty Mike and the boys, Jordan Allard, he's the quarterback. He plays on my Div C team. we got Vinny and another Jordan fan over there. He apparently ran back a pick 6 on the final play of the game, and they were up about 52-0. So he made it 58. Yeah, that's not classy, man. That's not cool. Honestly, that's not.
That
cool.
said, it's not his job to stop himself.
True. But still.
And in our last game, Hot Boys Hotline versus Face Jazz.
Jazz.
I say Face Jazz as well. Eagle will get picked on because he is awful, and also just a generally unpleasant person. I think Aaron Omby will make several catches in his face, and there's nothing Eagle will be able to do about it. Eddie Rousseau will torch Hot Boys Hotline.
That was our last game.
I know.
Yeah, and now
waiting
for
for
our
your transition.
I need to introduce my own segment. Okay,
You
good.
do. It's
Fine,
your
I'll
segment.
do this. I don't want to do this. It's time for Chapernyms. Please explain what it is.
Chapernyms every week. Chapman will give us an acronym. We will then define it, and then never learn what the acronym actually stands for.
All right, so this week we're going to choose TBA.
Mr. Bodkin?
TBA, oh man.
I gave you a warning earlier. I mean,
True. I wasn't sure though. Honestly, I wasn't sure. I thought you were just kind of saying that to say that.
No.
Two bad assholes. Get a fucking name. I don't know.
All right.
Wow, he added some stuff. I like it.
I was
Why not?
going to go with totally broken acronyms. So
I'm going to give it to
I
Brent.
like his.
Brent
better.
wins that one. All right, we'll give that one
He's
to
got
Brent.
some like pep at the end as well, you know, like some spice.
Yeah, he was angry. I'm just,
Get a
I'm just
name.
not that
It's
angry, I guess.
ridiculous. I mean, you guys have so much time. Get a name. Come on.
Final thoughts. Was that it?
You need to get a name, yeah, bro. Honestly, straight up, get a name.
Chapman, final thoughts?
I don't have any actually. Get a name.
All right, am I going for 1, going for 2? I will go for 1 this week. Remember, this week is picture week, so look as good as you can. Try to make sure you get your jerseys on time, because the whole point of having the jersey is for that picture and to also not have to wear the pennies because they never get washed. So please look your best, look your finest, as it is picture day. Thank you, Brent, for joining us. Thank you to my co-host on the Division A and B podcast for not murdering me just yet. Thank you, Eagle, for help with the setup, and thank you, Chapman, for all your work. But most of all, thank you all for letting me be myself.